This is Byron, Lazine, and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 236 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
And we're live from Dallas here at the Tom Ferry Summit. How you feeling, Nicole?
I feel great about it.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. I'm here.
You do?
Yep.
All right. Any
How do you
drinks
feel?
today?
I have one waiting for me in the car.
One waiting after. Good call. Waiting for after the pod.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling good. Little, dinner.
You're a
We
little
did the dinner
hungover.
Sunday night,
Yeah.
making sure the conference starts Tuesday, making sure there's a little space between conference and dinner. I will eat dinner tonight. I just won't drink.
I'm so confused by whatever it is you're trying to say.
Staying fresh.
Staying fresh.
All right. What's not staying fresh is these appraisers in the industry.
They actually are fresh, like bad fresh.
Yeah, there you go.
My mom used to call them like you're fresh.
Yeah, they're not good.
They're not good.
We did a podcast on this over a year ago. All right, it was in June of 2021. We were referencing a Housing Wire article at the time.
I almost wore that same shirt. That would have been fun.
That would have been crazy. So
Anyway.
The Housing Wire article that we referenced was, is the appraisal process colorblind? We covered a story back then about, and there was a couple that
went hard on.
I went hard on appraisers.
Yes.
There was this YouTube video or that, for the Real Word podcast, did hundreds of comments. We ended up having a follow-up Real Word episode because that link got posted into a private Facebook group.
And we had an appraiser
Yep.
come on.
Who I enjoy him. Warren Sumner. I've actually gotten to know him a little bit after that because I've seen him at conferences. I say hello. Very nice guy. He was great when we did the follow-up.
Yes.
But appraisers were hammering us in the comments.
Hammering them.
And
hammering you.
Yeah, hammering me. And I'm going to
Yeah.
stick to what I said then. The appraisal process is an absolute joke in this country. When you talk to banks right now that are maybe a mortgage bank, I'm thinking of Tomo. Hello, Tomo. We love Tomo.
We do love Tomo.
When I think about what Greg Schwartz says about the hardest thing about starting a bank, the number one complaint he gets from agents on what they would do to align with a loan officer or a mortgage originator or whatever you want to call it is fix the appraisal process.
Yes.
The appraisal process is a mess. We're relying on one person's opinion, literally a human being's opinion of value, not the market. And listen, I get blasted all the time when I say this about appraisers. I'm sure I will right now in the comments. But if you're in agreement with me, hit the thumbs up on YouTube if you agree with that. I think that the process is complete. It can be very biased. And so there's a new report now. All right. So we've got a New York Times article. Mm-hmm. And these stories are everywhere.
Everywhere.
New York Times. Home appraised with a black owner, $472,000. With a white owner, $750,000.
And that's not a mistake. I mean, that's huge.
There's absolutely no
dollars.
science.
That's like $300,000 difference.
No appraiser education is going to be $300,000 off.
Insane.
I mean, you've got to be, first of all, to have two appraisals that are $300,000 apart, somebody's a moron.
Yeah,
that's
something's going on.
Nathan Connolly and his wife, Shani Mott, say an appraisal company undervalued their home based on their race. The couple has filed a lawsuit in Maryland. So this story, I remember this story. The one that we covered was not this particular story, but there was many of them.
Very similar, yes.
So this was from last summer. Nathan Connolly and his wife, Shani Mott, they welcomed an appraiser into their home. It was in Baltimore, hoping to take advantage of these historically low rates. So
they were looking to just refinance, yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. They had improved their house, $5,000 tankless water heater, okay.
All that fun stuff.
$35,000 in other renovations. Those could really, depending on what they were, could bump it up. And so they thought it was worth much more than $450,000 they paid for it in 2017, which just based off of buying in 2017 last summer.
You're well over 25% increase without even doing anything. Yeah.
So there you go there. So 2020 valuations, a Maryland appraisal company, put the home's value at the $472,000. In turn, Loan Depot, a mortgage lender, denied the couple a refinance loan. Mm-hmm. Dr. Connolly said he knew why. He and his wife and his three children, aged 15, 12, and 9, are black. So he is at Johns Hopkins University.
He's a professor there, yep.
And he takes now another crack at the appraisal. Who did they do the second appraisal with?
Rocket.
Rocket.
It was a company that was affiliated with Rocket Mortgage.
So a new appraiser comes out, Rocket. He has a colleague of his from Johns Hopkins.
Well, first he completely waters down his entire house, takes all of his family photos down, does anything and everything that would make one believe that a black family lived there.
And then they have his colleague go in, who was white.
Yep. Another professor at Johns Hopkins. Yep.
And
the light went off again.
They get the second appraisal.
Yes.
For
$750,000.
That's insane.
It's crazy insane.
And when this whole thing blew up last time we covered one of these stories, appraisers were like, that's such a rare case. These stories keep popping up. They're everywhere. They're like in almost every state.
And this is blatant. I mean, this is
super blatant.
Nuts. Yeah.
And it's also based, a lot of times these appraisals, and this is where I have a big issue with it. If you go and hire an appraiser right now, and you call them, well, what's the use? Well, what does it matter? If it's just for you, for your draw, I'll get right up with any number you want, basically. Right. But if this is for a bank, then that's a different story. The bank's the
or
client.
Is it for a divorce? Are you looking to
or divorce?
Buy
or is
out?
it who's going to be checking my appraisal? Is basically what they say.
Right.
And so they can be very flawed. I'm not a fan of it. I want the market to dictate terms.
Yes.
You will see, I believe, massive disruption in this industry. Like I said before, we haven't seen it completely. We've seen these desktop appraisals, which, granted, depending on the location, like I said last time, those can be really good.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen them in a while, though.
If you've got a development in, like I said before, in the South, say Florida, where you've got 750 homes and there's 4 floor plans and you've got just consistent comps, a desktop appraisal there can be fine.
Yes.
You don't really need to they're all the same.
Right.
You're in the Northeast or somewhere where everything's different. One house is different from the other. It's not going to work as well. But you saying you haven't seen desktop appraisals? I
haven't seen one in a while.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I feel like at least almost 6 months, maybe a year. Yeah.
Yeah. And again,
regularly,
it's not gonna work
I
everywhere.
should say. Regularly.
I'd love to, by the way, we did the Ricky Carruth debate on BAM. If you remember that debate in the comments, do you remember that debate here on BAM? Are you subscribed? Because we're going to be doing more debates. And if any appraiser wants to debate me on this topic, that the appraisal industry is a complete waste of time.
Oh, is that the purpose of this? That was the purpose of this one?
I'm just
the real word.
That,
it was to.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Coax out a fight.
Not a fight, just a debate, just a good, healthy debate. I just believe it's the most useless position in our industry. We need it, unfortunately, for the banks. I think the banks might even, they need to have something, but there's smart banks out there, hello Tomo, that want to disrupt that industry.
And it sounds like they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to.
Yeah, and they've actually, while we're here in Dallas,
they're
going to be announcing something about appraisals.
I'm aware and I'm excited for them.
Kind of just leaking that out a little bit.
Well, will they announce it after?
They're announcing it Wednesday, and
this goes out Tuesday. Well, you guys better pay attention on Wednesday.
Yeah, pay attention if you're
Make sure you show up. Don't get too drunk Tuesday night. Show up on Wednesday.
If you're at the BAM Bash, you might be Tuesday night.
Tuesday night is the BAM Bash. You ready for it?
So what's your thoughts? So wrap this up. Racket or not? I mean, this is a clear racket.
It's a total racket.
It's awful.
It is awful, and it's sad, and it's almost really unfortunate that. Again, I mean, he's got children that he's having to explain this to, and it's just, I feel like it's awful.
Now they just filed the lawsuit last week, so Loan Depot and 2020 Valuations, obviously named as defendants in the lawsuit.
Yeah.
They're going to have their opportunity to defend themselves. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they, they'll probably both settle, is my prediction.
Yeah, I wonder what will happen to that appraiser, too.
And then the appraiser should lose their license.
Yeah, for sure.
The one that came in at, whatever.
$450, yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the market is, but I mean, Zillow had it up 42% in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
So, your 25% is probably right on as of last summer for sure.
Well, again, I mean, they've done improvements. So I obviously haven't been into it, but I'm just, without even knowing the neighborhood or what's going on, that it's increased 25%, even just in the last 2 years. So, well.
Here's a stat that's going to blow your mind about appraisers. More than 97% of home appraisers are white, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And since the summer of 2020, when conversations on race and discrimination in America rose to the forefront after George Floyd, dozens of black homeowners have alleged discrimination in home valuations that they have received. I mean, mostly, I've never met an appraiser who was not a white dude.
Well, I mean, I've met white women.
I have. You're right.
Yeah. There's an agent in our town that her mom is an appraiser. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of them are white dudes. living in the basements of their parents' house.
Really?
I'm just saying.
You're just using my line.
I am.
You're stealing that.
I
from
did.
me.
I like it.
All right.
Makes me happy.
Total racket. I think appraisers are a racket. Love to debate. Any one of you on a live debate on the BAM channel on what I think is going to happen, which is your industry being completely disrupted and
maybe someone wants maybe it's not a debate though. Maybe it's them agreeing and maybe having some sort of resolution for this. Where how can they help make their profession?
Here was Warren's comment, because Warren put this into that private group last time. This was his comment last time I said this, and we had that whole follow-up show. We went back and forth about it.
He was a lovely man. He was lovely.
I like watching your show normally, but it's painfully obvious you guys have been distorted and biased view of the appraisal industry. And he's also a realtor and an appraiser. I'm a realtor, but started as an appraiser in 1998. I still actively appraise today. I've read all of these articles on racial discrimination in the appraisal process. They all have a common thread in that we get plenty of anecdotes of racial bias, but like you say, there are no facts to back it up. This one here is factual. I mean, so I don't know. I don't know where that is. Anyways, we can link that. Let's link that video up if people want to go dig into those comments. But leave your comment here. What do you think about this situation and the appraisal industry as a whole? Let's get into racket number 2.
Racket number 2.
Okay, Inman. Incentive / downlines dropped. Time to sell real estate. Compass pulls back on sign-on sweeteners, and downlines ain't what they used to be. Some newer agents are having to learn how to build a business from the ground up all over again. So heavy incentives and monthly marketing budgets are on the chopping blocks. We talked about this last week on the walkthrough, where Compass, they're not giving out stock anymore. I told everybody, don't take the Compass stock. Don't take the Compass stock. A whole bunch of people did. It is down like over 80%, 70%, something like that for the year. I was completely right about that. If you took that stock, you are in a really bad spot because it's never going to go back up to that level. They're going to get bought out at some point. Anyways, you should have taken the cash because this was so predictable. And now this article here, which is an opinion piece by Troy Palmquist, he's pointing out EXP and real brokerage.
He's doing it.
He is pointing the finger. Listen to this. Where was it? I lost. Okay, listen to this. Listen to what Troy says. If you watched last year's Lou La Roe documentary, Lou La Rich, you know how MLMs work. He is saying, hey, EXP, hey, real, MLM.
Yeah.
And
you're like Mary Kay in like your pink Cadillac.
Yeah. And watch the documentary. He says, watch it now. The ones who get in early are the ones who get the perks and the big money. The ones who get in on the tail end, well, they don't. And so what he's saying is, so for all these people that have been recruited into EXP, for example, 85,000 plus agents right now, that had this vision of like, I'm just going to attract agents into this MLM.
That'll be their job.
That's going to be the job.
Yeah.
Well, somebody has to sell the real estate.
Right.
And so where it's really working for people at EXP and Real are big monster team leaders who have a monster team under them and then can have some type of national brand and get some others to join. That's who it's really working for. And at EXP specifically, because they've been around a little bit, the ones that got in early, they're really doing good. They're really doing well. And I've talked to so many agents that are just a sole agent that just like floating around in that.
It's interesting though. Do you think you're seeing a lot of people going from EXP to Real?
Well, you're seeing that too right now. So you're seeing a whole bunch of people that have gone from EXP to Real, and Real's maybe 5,000 agents. They just cracked 5,000.
So they're trying to get at the beginning end of it again.
So they're like, let me get into the beginning. So that tells you something right there. If like they were in the middle at EXP and they're jumping over to Real, they're like, okay, I can see the writing on the wall. I'm never going to get my Lula Rich on here at EXP being in the middle. I want to get in the beginning
they're
of
like
Real so that if they
sluts.
get 80. And listen, I don't think EXP is a pyramid scheme, and I don't think Real, and I love what Real is doing. They've got a vibe and an energy that is undeniable. Yep. They have so many great agents that are actually doing real estate. And they do have a real momentum that is something strong. And if I'm a broker, I'm like, okay, they're coming for market share right now. EXP's obviously done it. They're the fastest growing brokerage still today. They're dropping in new countries. They're both doing it. But at the end of the day, this is real estate. If you don't have an actual business, it's going to be very hard to make any money. Right. And so
we're watching Lula Rich tonight.
I
Is that what we're doing?
I have the trailer linked up. You watched the trailer.
I did. I watched the trailer with you. Mm-hmm.
Have you, in the comments, have you seen the documentary?
I haven't seen it. I'm a documentary like whore. Like I am like dirty whore. Yeah. Mm-hmm, my favorite. I love documentaries. Sorry, Bobby.
I'm going to watch this one because it does look very interesting. It does look very interesting. Again, I do not believe, I want to be very clear, I do not believe EXP and Real are in any way
this gentleman. Schemes. What's his name again?
No, I don't think he's saying
He's actually telling you to stop reading the article, watch the documentary, and then come back and finish his article after you've watched it.
So he says, I hope these companies can find a way to live up to the promises that they've made. I hope they do right by their agents. Nobody likes changing brokerages, and there's much to attrition. It sounds like he's down on both Compass, and I would be way more down on Compass's future than EXP and Real. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, focus in on selling real estate. Why are you in this business in the first place?
Yes.
I promise you, 99.999% of people that aren't in the top of one of these companies can make a whole heck of a lot more money building a great business that has lifetime value, that has referrals coming year in and year out, because you actually go out and help serve people, buy, sell, and invest in real estate.
Obviously, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, if you're a real estate agent,
right?
If you're a realtor.
But again, I don't know that there's all like EXP agents want to necessarily sell. I think that I'm not saying for sure, but I think some got in though to build the business of recruiting for the downline. But
there's some serious comments on this one, so people are fired up about it. There's a lot of Compass defendants in here for sure. Compass, by the way, just side note, 2 executives just sold $1 million
worth of shares.
I
saw that.
So they're bailing out at the bottom because I got to believe the stock's going to go even lower.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just like if you're holding AMC, you took a punch in the face this week, AMC stock, which I also said get away from that a while back. Okay.
Are we going to start another one instead of left, middle, right? It's going to be like about stocks. Buy, sell, hold. Yeah, there you go.
All right. Left, middle, right. This is, I just love this little segment. We've got 2 headlines. The headlines in politics. Real estate entrepreneurs and agents need to know. Nicole, what are they?
Ready?
Yeah.
Biden officials see a second chance to promote last year's infrastructure law with projects underway. This is from CNN.
Yeah, and so most of the money in this infrastructure law is actually going to start being handed out now. Okay, so this fall, nearly a year after this bill was passed, and of course, it's just in time for midterm elections.
It always is.
Timing there.
Gas prices come down. And
but great for everybody. So the point is, a lot of this money is going to be doled out. Well, there are over 5,300 infrastructure projects getting underway across the country. So every state, there's multiple like local congressmen and women, and people that are going to be. Biden's going to be all over this week, telling everybody about all these projects and meeting with local officials and telling everybody. They're talking in the article here about some of the terminals at LAX. I'll be there in a couple months. I don't know. Maybe I'll see the improvement by then. Maybe not. Chattanooga, there's a rail yard. There's all these different examples. One thing is some of them, like I don't know if terminals at LAX are really going to impact anybody. Maybe not. It's more of the traffic that they need there.
Right.
I don't think, unless Elon fixes that problem, I don't think our government will. But if there's a project, like Chattanooga is a very small little town in Tennessee. Small city, I'd say. Shout out to Doug Edrington and the Edrington team over there. If there's something that is really great that's happening, I want to cover that, right? If there is an infrastructure project that's going to make a great impact, I want to know about it, I want to cover it, and I want to use it to my advantage to educate the community, educate home shoppers coming in. So there's 5,300 projects. Some of these, I don't know, we'll see. Some of these could be right in your local market. I would know about it. And if it is, I would do content on it. By the way, did you see Cassie's reel with the team today? So
I did see the bagels.
We're doing a little love your local type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same two faces all the time.
They're literally, well, you can be in one, Nicole.
Yeah.
I hate when you complain about something that you can actually jump in and put your face in.
Okie doke.
It's like, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think it was Chaz, of course, and
Greg.
Mm-hmm. So this is the simplest. We should just link this up, Bobby. This little reel is so amazing. And some people might say.
I love hearing her voice, too.
Her voice is amazing.
I love it.
The voiceover. So our social media director, a little off topic here, but I think this is valuable. Social media director does the voiceover. So if you ever watch TikTok or Reel, you see these little tours of places, yes. And then there's this great voiceover. That's what she's doing. And so this is just off of the cell phone with a voiceover in the app. It got posted 3 or 4 hours ago. It's got over 14,000 views on Instagram Reels. I don't know, almost 400 hearts, a bunch of comments.
Good old Deke, too. We love him.
And it's just promoting a local business. These are the kind of things, like when I'm talking about the infrastructure, what is it where in your community that maybe you can go down to the site that they're fixing up or whatever's going to happen if it's the rail yard in Chattanooga, and take it with your phone and do a voiceover and just give a little update that could reach 15,000 people in your community like that. It literally, Bobby said this video, because he was in the office last Friday, happened. They were like, hey, we're going to go get lunch.
I saw you in a...
Or go get...
spur of the moment thing.
Get breakfast or whatever they were doing. And Cassie's like, I'm just going to follow you guys and we'll just get some content. That's how easy some of this stuff is. Just take the action, get the content, get it going. And if it is the same two faces, well, then they're going to get the glory.
They are. All right, ready for the CNBC?
Yeah, I'm ready.
59% of Americans worry student loan forgiveness will make inflation worse.
Yeah, so I don't know if it will or it won't. It depends on how much is actually canceled. If you canceled all the debt, certainly could, because that's going to put a whole bunch of money into the system that people don't owe anymore. So some borrowers say they would not change their spending habits if their college debt or a portion of it is canceled. So it's like, I'm spending X, I'm just going to keep spending X. It really has no impact on my life. Respondents were mixed on whether student loan debt should be forgiven. Obviously, that is very debatable. Currently, about 44 million borrowers owe a collective $1.7 trillion in federal student loan debt. If that much got forgiven, here's my point. How many more homeowners do you think you would have? People that have student loan debt are typically renting right now.
Yep.
A lot of them.
Right, or living in their parents' basement.
Or that's potential.
Yeah.
And they maybe want to get out.
Or again, they can't afford to buy what they need.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge, especially, I mean, even like doctors have problems too. I mean, not that you're going to forgive but even doctors, we run into having problems all the time being able to afford, not even necessarily afford it, but being qualified to purchase a home. Yes.
There was some thought that if you were getting a medical degree, then it would be forgiven. But if you just have some like BS degree, then it wouldn't be forgiven because, we need doctors. I don't know. I know that was just floated out there. Many borrowers are hoping the education department will extend the break, meaning like you don't have to pay right now, or there's some kind of pause. It's been a 2-year pause on federal student loan debt. So that's coming up on August 31st. And that they'll also announce up to $10,000 loan forgiveness. Biden, of course, has said that he doesn't want to do the $50,000 forgiveness. If they do the $10,000, point is, I would be targeting that millennial generation that has a bunch of, like, especially the older millennials that has a bunch of student loan debt. And if they get $10,000 and maybe that actually impacts, maybe somebody, to your point, didn't qualify for the $450,000 house and they're like, I'm going to keep renting. Well, maybe that $10,000 now puts them. So just use it as a way to stay in touch with people. This is an article that you could even send to people in your database that are in that situation where student loan debt is actually holding them back. Now, this is definitely a cross your fingers and hope it happens. And it's a miracle dropping out of the sky. But if it does happen, you can jump in and help some people become homeowners. That debt actually gives you an asset. This debt gives you a chance at a job, and we know how that works out by now. All right, Nicole.
The light went back on. Does it can you see it in the video? A little bit. I think it's
the light
amazing.
is flashing back there.
On, off.
We're at a very old hotel, St. Elm.
You think it's haunted? Is it haunted?
No, but I think they did a great job renovating it.
Yeah.
And I think besides the
leak in the roof leak,
because it was raining like crazy here. I think if you're in downtown Dallas, it's worth checking out. I still like the Crescent Court and the Ritz a little better, of course. Okay. But Ritz is a little expensive.
So now we're doing reviews, hotel
reviews.
I love
here
it.
on The Real Word. All right.
I love it.
Appreciate you guys. If you're in Dallas, hit us up and
please
leave us a comment. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.